Hello and welcome to the Saudi Arabian GP qualifying watch-along outside the cockpit, powered by the Intermission Sports. I'm your host, Sam Donzig, joined by Jack Shanlin. How are you doing today, Jack?
How's it going?
Not too bad. Obviously, we got an exciting session out of qualifying here at a new circuit, the Jeddah circuit, as it's called. So what are you most looking forward to in qualifying? Who do you think has the advantage? Obviously, we just heard that Hamilton did not get a penalty. We'll just first talk about that. No penalty for Hamilton in the incident in FP3. Basically, what happened is, like most of you probably saw it, you got a little bit too close to Nikita Mazepin coming around the corner, or Nikita Mazepin got a little close with Lewis Hamilton. But what are your thoughts on no penalty for Hamilton there? So
yeah, like we talked about it before, and it was like way. Like I think if they gave him one, no, I don't think I would have been like, oh, bad call or anything. But I think it's a little interesting. But I think one of the big reasons they didn't was considering how big of a race it is. Like that would have I don't think Formula One would have wanted to, like, let's say that they did give him a penalty and he started way back and didn't make up the spots. I don't think that's how Formula One would have wanted Max to clinch.
Yeah, to win the title. Yeah. I feel like
I think that maybe played a role.
No, for sure. I would definitely agree with that as well. As we kind of view the live timings, as qualifying is just set to begin. A couple cars going out right now. Gasly and Russell out now, and it looks like Lewis Hamilton's coming out along with Valtteri Bottas as well. But I agree with you. I don't think that it just wouldn't feel right as a Max fan just being sitting there okay, Lewis gets a penalty. He starts at the back of the grid. He doesn't make up the places for whatever reason. He struggles to get even he could take pole position and get a 20-place grid penalty. Start at the back of the grid. It doesn't matter. Regardless of what the penalty was. But I just don't think it would sit right with a lot of fans. Be like, okay, that's the way that Max won. I wouldn't say it's an asterisk.
You battle all year to win that way is not the way people would want.
I think most people would consider that an asterisk, as okay, he won 2021, but 100%. It was an asterisk as well.
Well, it's like 76 when Hunt won, right? He won because he was awesome, but Lauda didn't race a lot and was in a really bad accident that year. So
it's interesting.
Did he really win?
No, for sure. A lot of people still consider that as well. It's okay, yes, they both had a great season, but Niki Lauda was out for 42 days. He missed 2 races, and then even the last race he didn't even go in because he was concerned more about his safety versus just winning, which was interesting because obviously it was really interesting. Obviously he came back the next season and won. He proved to Ferrari.
I think he would have won if he didn't get in the accident.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah, he was set to win 1976. But again, it was great to see. It was a great battle on track. Obviously, as now Q1 is set to begin. Got a couple cars on track. Russell right now going for his flying lap or his timed lap along with Latifi as well. So air temperature, track temperature. Okay, 28 degrees and 31 degrees on the track temperature. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. This weekend has been really interesting about the tires and which tires are actually fastest, because we've seen in practice, it's the hard tire can be still pretty fast around this circuit. And it's taking a lot of laps, 4 or 5 laps for some drivers to warm up the soft tires to get a good time lap in, which I thought was really interesting because usually the hard tire is a little bit slower. So
most tracks it is.
Yeah, it's just interesting because obviously we saw in FP1 as Vettel goes fast as a minute 33. Giovinazzi. Yeah, and obviously all the mid-tier cars are going to kind of just set their time. All we're waiting for is just Verstappen or Hamilton or Bottas or Prez, but Verstappen is out now. Yeah, Orlando as well. But Hamilton, Verstappen's out right now going for his timed lap. This circuit honestly just looks so fast. It's
brutally fast, and turn 1 is ridiculous.
It's kind of like Abu Dhabi, that kind of first turn. It reminds me of Abu Dhabi, that very sharp turn.
For sure, it's gonna be crazy.
The race start is gonna be mad. Imagine Norris goes fastest, minute 29.136. It's gonna be crazy. Imagine Verstappen, Hamilton lining up side by side going into turn 1 just to see what that's like. And 122. Okay, he's crossing the line. Come on. So Norris with the 129. Ricardo 2/10 off of that. Verstappen goes 1 1:28.6 for the fastest lap. So I'm guessing that's going to be roughly the time to beat, or a time there for Q1. But we'll have to see, obviously.
I like the colors of the track. It gives me like Mexico vibes or Azerbaijan.
It does, yeah. Like, it does really have a nice color scheme. It's not so. I wouldn't. Looks like Hamilton bottled it there on the replay. Looks like he had to abort that lap. So, again, still very. This is going to be a very interesting qualifying situation. It looks like Nicholas Latifi is right, or Lewis Hamilton's right behind Nicholas Latifi. But so Sainz goes third fastest. So it should be interesting. But
this is the thing about the season. The Ferraris at certain points have shown good pace.
Yeah.
Like actually solid pace, and then it's really coming together for them this season.
Yeah, no, it really has, honestly. I honestly think that the past few races they've really stepped it up. I think after Charles Leclerc took that new power unit, I think it was in Russia that he did. The pace has just been immensely so much better in the Ferrari compared to the McLaren. And I think McLaren's really struggled now, obviously, the past few races, finishing in the points, finishing the double points, because really, if you look at any battle between, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, it's having both drivers being able to finish in the points is really the key difference. And that's why I think Mercedes was able, Perez goes second fastest, 1:29, about 3/10 off of Verstappen.
Hamilton went off.
Hamilton did go, he went off?
Yeah, well, not like off, but
okay.
He definitely wasn't on the racing line.
No, yeah, he's a little bit off. Yeah, he's going for a new timed lap right now. So he's at 45 seconds right now. But what's interesting is that if you don't have that second driver there to support you in a way or finish points, it's a huge difference. And that's why for so many years, Mercedes was able to dominate versus their competition, is because they had two good drivers and two good cars that were able to compete at the top.
Yeah.
And again, not saying Ferrari, for 2018 season, Seb Vettel was right up there until Germany 2018. If Germany 2018 goes differently, Seb Vettel could potentially become a fifth world drivers championship, which would be great to see. I think if Vettel were to have 5 world drivers championships, just get that 5th one and to beat Hamilton in 2018, I think it would be great as well.
For sure.
I think one thing that Formula One should look into, and I don't know, I guess they have this. I don't think they really officially have this, but Hamilton goes fastest, minute 28.466, but some type of Hall of Fame. I think they should actually have a proper Hall of Fame, Drivers Hall of Fame. I don't know if they actually have that really, or something like.
I mean, it's not like a formal thing, but there's Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Motorsports Hall of Fame. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I forget where it is, but there is one that's World Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Right.
But the thing about a lot of racing is most of the museums and stuff the teams have on their own.
No, for sure. Yeah, they have their own
they all
museum,
have their own things, right?
Yeah, you can just go to the McLaren. I wouldn't say you can go to some museum and stuff like that. Either through and if you're really lucky, you get to tour the factory. But also they have their own museum as well, part of it, which you can.
Yeah, I've been to the Ferrari one.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. That would be cool to see. So.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be cool. So Tsunoda somehow third fastest. That's crazy. Norris goes second fastest. So McLaren is looking like they've got some pace. This is interesting. Ricciardo goes third fastest. So could we see possibly Norris on the front row? It's only Q1, but we could see it. So, okay. So McLaren, Mercedes is looking really strong. Red Bull's dropping down a bit. Perez is now down in 10th right now, which doesn't look great. I think Perez has to have a good weekend because he didn't have the best time in Qatar, the best qualifying session. And I think that hurt their chances. Yeah. So he has to come out big and he has to put in a good performance. Leclerc goes third fastest. So it's really interesting. Look at the time difference.
It's also huge for Max to have a teammate up there with him.
Oh, for sure. Sainz goes quickest, 1:28.330. Wow, that's they're looking very, very close. Look at the gap.
This is what I like. I think it's a very competitive track.
I think
it's one of those places where it's a lot of speed and a lot of these guys know how to be fast on a track like this. So I think it'll be a good race.
Oh, it's going to be a great race. And I think it's going to be a great qualifying session because Daniel Ricciardo is literally 1.1 seconds ahead of the target that was set by the team. He's currently P6, Norris P5. But honestly, it's just looking like whoever's just going to get the best lap in is going to have the best chance to get qualified. Now, it sounds like sounds cliche, but regardless, it's a very fast circuit. The difference between Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc is like less than half a second between the top 7. Between Tsunoda, who's like currently half a second off the pace. But that's it, like half. Again, it's only Q1, so Q1 is a good quantitative piece to look at. And then obviously when you go to Q2 and Q3, they slightly turn up the engines and they find the right setup. Or I guess they can't change the setup, but because they're in Parc Ferme. But regardless, they they do turn up the engines a little bit to get that quicker pace
fast.
in.
I love it. This is a nice track so far.
I know. I can't honestly. I'm excited.
Yeah, you're talking about close times. There was a race in Florida it's been all this week. And they did qualifying last night, and 50 cars were separated by less than a second.
That's crazy.
It was 800th of a second.
That's madness. That's See, I think this is what some tracks don't bring us, is they don't bring like a high speed circuit where there's just like it's quote close qualifying, because yes, you need a lot of downforce for, some of the main, like for a lot of these corners, but regardless, it's just a heavy straight line speed and like heavy speed circuit, I think.
Yeah.
Like it's just all about straight line speed and
it'll be nice to have a Middle Eastern track that is like interesting.
Yeah. Because we've
I'm not too big of a fan of the other ones, to be honest. It's just
between like
racing.
Bahrain or just like Baku and stuff?
I like the Bahrain, I really like the high speed circuit, like the high speed configuration.
Yeah, like just like the
that was
like
actually
the Sakir Grand Prix, that was interesting because like people were saying
dangerous as heck, but but I thought it was interesting. And like Abu Dhabi is just boring. Like it's just a boring track.
Yeah, it really is. Honestly, it's just tough to see. So Perez now.
From this, it looks like it'll be a better fit.
Sure. So this is interesting. Perez right now in P12. He needs to pick up that time. Verstappen goes quickest with a 1:28.285, fourth fastest. So that's good. He's beating Bottas, and that's all he really needs to do. Is if he's ahead of Bottas, that's all he really needs to do. That's his goal. And I think as the team, if he's able to do that, then that's all that matters. So Valtteri Bottas going out as well for his timed lap, 1.3 seconds ahead of target. I don't know how that's
they're spraying a lot of sparks at the track.
Yeah, I think it's because when you see the replay of the car, the way that the car is, it's not so much like flat. It's like the front end is very tilted down. Like it's
you called rake.
Yeah,
it has nuts rake.
Oh, it does. Yeah, like it's insane.
Like that side profile, like there's just a piece sitting there that's like pretty clearly not gonna clear.
Yeah, Verstappen lost it there on the last turn. A bit of a bottle there, but so Bottas goes quickest, 1:28 flat. So this is gonna be. I mean, like I think pole position is really. It's hard to tell. Like when I was doing my qualifying predictions yesterday, I was like Hamilton's gonna get pole, Verstappen's gonna get second. Bottas third, Gasly fourth, but now it's really up in the air. I think Sainz could get it. Like it's whoever just really gets in at the right time in terms of Q3, like who gets a good toe, or just has like the cleanest air, like the cleanest when they go out and stuff like that. I think if you go out at the right time when the track is clear, you'll be able to get a really fast lap.
Sure.
So I mean, like I don't even think you're gonna want your teammates toe because it's just gonna be like too close. It's too dangerous. Yeah. I think it's too dangerous to be towing teammates, but the curbs are definitely eating up the cars in terms of like the rake that's getting picked up and the amount of sparks that are getting flown around.
Oh yeah.
So let's yeah. I'm just noticing on Russell's car that it says I feel the need for speed as like a quote from Top Gun. So that's pretty cool. I like that.
I like his helmet this weekend.
Yeah, I know it looks good. So I mean, like, I'm honestly glad that the FIA and like F1 allowed for like more customization for the helmets, not just like for like more than one weekend. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, can Russell get into Q2? Oh, I would be so happy if Russell breaks into Q2 or Q3. That would be just like Q2. I think would be good. Q2, if he's able to do that and qualify just outside. Latifi a little bit faster. Oh, there's Hamilton going slow again, or Bottas or somebody going slow. So. What's interesting as well about the whole ruling and going back to the Hamilton thing is that Michael Massey said that for only one part of the course that you cannot absolutely be going slow in, like you cannot be going slow in through this one section because of like the the blind corners.
Yeah.
And as Russell goes P15, so he gets just right into the bottom of the annihilation zone. But what's interesting is that I just feel that would be better, and I think they were talking about this on the broadcast during FP3 when I was watching the highlights, is that it would be better just to say throughout the whole circuit, you cannot be going slow based on how fast this overall circuit is. Like, you cannot be going slow throughout any point, because even like around that banking, that big bank left turn where it's like a 12-degree banking, I'm pretty sure, like it's quite steep actually. If you're going slow around that corner, someone could come flying around that corner and run into you, and it would be a massive shunt. Like, it would not be good for both drivers. It would be brutal. So Raikkonen going 11th fastest. Tsunoda and Gasly sitting 9th and 10th for AlphaTauri. So Bottas still right now at the fastest lap. Stroll struggling a little bit.
And Massey, with that whole situation, Massey, like from what the quotes that I read, sounded like he was not happy with what had happened.
Oh, for sure. I think he was.
And that's why I'm saying I think Formula One was like, no penalty.
Yeah, no penalty. Yeah, it's just better to. I think he just gave him a strict warning saying, you do it again, and we're gonna be like, it's more gonna be an issue. Like, if this would happen in qualifying, as Prez goes fastest, 128 flat. So looks like Prez is finding his grip here. I think.
So how many people have we seen go fastest?
I think at least I'd say Sainz. Yeah, it was Sainz, Verstappen, Bottas, and Prez over the past 5-10 minutes. We've just seen set fastest laps, and like obviously Norris and Leclerc were setting fastest lap, but regardless, who was fastest was Sainz was the first one, then Verstappen, then Bottas, then Prez. So 4, and they're within like Bottas is like 36 thousandths of I think I'm from reading that thousandths of a second off, or like a hundredth of a second off there. Like, he's really close. To Perez there in the time, because obviously they're both running 128 flat times. Verstappen a little bit off, 0.2 off, Sainz 0.3 off. But again, top 5, like half a second between each other, which is just absolute crazy.
Oh man, these Aston Martins are so disappointing.
It's tough, honestly, and I think that Vettel talked about it as well, and he said that he clearly he needs to see some massive improvement in Aston Martin, or else what good. I mean, like, he is getting older per se. Like, again, he's looking for a competitive car to still compete, because I think if you put him in a good car, I mean,
he's like a multi-time world champion. He'd be awesome.
Oh, if you put him in the Ferrari, like this year's Ferrari, the 2021 Ferrari, it would be a totally different year. Like, imagine if he had stayed with Ferrari and didn't leave for Aston Martin.
Yeah.
What would be that like?
See, that's the issue. The issue was like. When they had the pink Mercedes at Force India, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Racing Point, Force India. I mean, like, they changed names so many times. Yeah.
They were genuinely competing for podiums, like most races.
Yeah. Like,
that car was good. That was a good car.
And I think we all knew the reason why, because
exactly. But this Aston Martin was supposed to be better. Like, everyone thought it was going to be better. They thought they was going to be a good car, and that they were going to start competing.
Yeah.
And then it's crap.
Yeah.
They're competing against Mazepin for spots.
Mazepin, That's fair. It's fair, honestly. And I think the biggest thing is when they changed from, as it looks like Mercedes is pulling into the pits here, Bottas and Hamilton are both in the pits. But what's interesting as the end of Q1 comes to an end, Perez goes fastest, Bottas second fastest, Perez third, Sainz fourth, and Norris top 5. Hamilton, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, and Gasly are your top 10. Obviously, looking through to Q1. So Russell goes 13 fastest. He made it into Q2. Good to see Russell in there. One of the Williams out-qualifying his teammate once again. Both Aston Martin's not in there, which I thought was surprising, because, I mean, ideally the Alfa Romeos and Raikkonen and Giovinazzi out-qualified them. So that's interesting. But what I was going to say to your point as well, I think that the biggest issue is like the engine sanctions that hit. I would say not engine sanctions, but obviously after there was that big investigation between Racing Point and the pink Mercedes, and then they go to Aston Martin, it's hard to like replicate that same car and create it the same way as you're able to, because we saw, I mean, like, look at the 2020 Mercedes. The W11 Mercedes was one of the best cars ever built, I think, in terms of the pure speed and everything.
For sure.
And then this year, Red Bull comes out with a better car, but Mercedes aren't able to match it in terms of, you think they would be able to make a better car. And again, it's still a really good car, but compared to
Bottas is having issues,
Bottas is having issues, you said?
Yeah, misfiring. He was really slow coming through.
Yeah, no, I noticed that as well. Yeah, because there was a big pileup on that on the start finish straight. There was like 8-9 cars just kind of piling
Yeah,
up.
and so he went over the radio and said that his engine's misfiring.
Oh, that's not good. That
See,
cannot
like
be good.
you see them, they're pushing him through the pits right now.
No, I'm not watching that. I'm watching. Let me see if I can. I'll go to the main feed. I'm just on the pit lane channel right now. But if I go to the main feed, they might be showing that. Oh no, they're showing. Well, I can. They were showing it for me. Yeah, they were showing it. They did see that. I did see that he was pushing it.
Yeah,
so.
I might be a little delayed. I'm not on the F1 TV stream.
Oh, okay. I see. Mercedes. Oh, looks like something from Alex said in the chat. He said, Mercedes fine. FI said the team only gave 10-second warnings. What's this? Let me go to Twitter. Let's see what's popping on Twitter. I didn't see this. I've been watching this. Come on. Anything else? Yeah, give it a reprimand, but I don't see any fine or anything like that. But
Russell went faster than Alonso.
Yes, love to see it. Love to see it. Russell, George Russell, baby. I can't wait for him to get in that Mercedes. Honestly, that should be.
Yeah,
it's going to be good to see for sure. So. Yeah, I mean, like, I wonder if they're going to be able to, for Bottas, what's going to happen, honestly, to him, because obviously his engine was misfiring if they're able to. I mean, like, I'm sure it's fine, but regardless, it should be interesting. But Hamilton only 9th fastest. Sure. Hamilton only went 9th fastest, actually. So, I mean, like, I don't think he wasn't pushing so hard because it's not Q3. But he still was obviously able to get into Q2 with the fastest lap.
Man, it's so depressing looking at the Aston Martin team.
I know. It's just... I want to see Vettel do well, and it's hard.
I like Lance too. A lot of people don't like Lance, but I like him.
I think the reason why people didn't like him is when he came into F1, he literally went from like F3, didn't even go to F2. He went from F3 to F1, and I think he missed a big step where he honestly,
like, he's not the only one. Like, everyone knows that money runs the sport.
Oh, so money runs F1. It's a huge thing, especially now in the 21st century. Compared to older, different times when, like, for say, oh, wow, that is, oh my God, they're showing a replay of Hamilton, and all you can see is the tire just reverberating sideways, left and right. It was pretty cool, actually, to see that. But there's paid drivers. Like, obviously, we saw Guan Yu Zhou get a seat this year, and the major part of that was the $30 million backing that he was bringing for sponsorship.
Yeah, and that one frustrates me because I think it should have been Callum, but...
Callum, or I mean, the Callum Elliott deserves to be an F1 for sure, and but regardless of the same point as well, I think Callum Elliott, or even despite, I mean, like Oscar Piastri, who is Guan Yu Zhou's teammate, he's leading the F2 championship right now, and he's a rookie.
Yeah.
So we could, I mean, like you could have seen a similar situation where they bring in like Lando Norris and George Russell, who both won their first year in F2 and then went right into F1.
Yeah.
But obviously, he didn't get the seat. Which was too bad, but again, money does run the sport, and it's a huge reason why people are wanting to go. I mean, like, why people are able to get into F1 is because they have the money to.
Yeah, like if you're in F2, like you have an absurd amount of money already, so it's like.
No, for sure. You like if you're an F2 driver, you have an absurd amount of money, but I think there's people who bring extra sponsorships.
Yeah,
and there's a reason.
That's why Checo is so. Like. That's why I was surprised it took him a long time to get the seat last year or for this season, because the amount of like sponsorship dollars he brings is ridiculous.
Well, I think when you flash back to 2018 when Esteban Ocon and like when they were transiting from Force India to Racing Point, and he got the seat over Esteban Ocon because he had backing from Carlos Slim, over to the new owner. And I think that was the one thing I think that really bothered me, because I like not even that, but having a billionaire coming in saying, hey, I'm just going to buy my way into F1 and buy my son's way into F1 and get him a seat is just like, okay, but is he good enough? Yes, he's a great driver in F3, but he didn't go through F2. He's now developed. He's getting better. He's a lot better than he was, regardless when he came into he came in. Obviously he got a podium.
I mean, like we saw what he could do.
Yeah.
In the racing, like in that good car.
No, for sure.
Like he was beating Checo a lot of races as well. Like got a podium. Like I don't know. I think he's a good driver, and I guess we haven't been able to see Latifi in good equipment.
No, we haven't seen also because obviously Latifi, another driver that's considered a pay driver. But regardless, I think the pay driver overshadows sometimes how good the true like the racing craft that the driver has. Yeah. And I think for a lot of drivers like Lance Stroll, like even Guan Yu Zhou, obviously, or even Latifi as well, is that they have a great amount of skill. But then everyone just looks at, okay, well, the only reason why they're in there is because they paid 30 million. Well, no, they're really good also at driving as well. Like no one. Like, it's not like if
they're all good.
Was like yeah,
it's Formula One. Everyone's good.
Everyone's good, but it's just who's great and who's excellent, who's like world class. There's levels, right, of drivers in F1.
Exactly.
And I think that, like, if let's say hypothetical situation, if I was like, my dad was a billionaire and he was like, hey, I liked F1. It's like, get me a seat in F1 team. They wouldn't be like, yeah, let's get you an F1 seat because I've never driven an F1 car. Like, there's no way that I'd be able to.
Yeah, like you still have to be like really good.
You have to get a super license still, which is the F1 super license,
which is super hard.
Which is super hard. So it's like the F1 drivers that are going
F1 doesn't just want to give it to you, even if you're good enough.
Even if you're good enough in F2, like you have to go through the super license test. So I think they're just showing here's the replay of showing Bottas where the engine's misfiring and they're having to push him. Yeah, his engine just misfired and just died.
And the issue with the super license as well is like the FIA doesn't necessarily want to give too many out.
Yeah,
like Pato O'Ward is 100% good enough to be an F1 driver in my opinion.
For sure,
100% good enough. But you know how hard it would be for him to get a super license.
Yeah,
like the FIA just doesn't. They don't want him.
Yeah,
and so I don't know. I guess we'll see.
It's interesting because obviously. Like,
actually, he was testing here, right?
Or he was
testing Abu Dhabi.
He was testing in Abu. He was testing with McLaren, I think, in Abu Dhabi. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was Jeddah, but pretty sure it was Abu Dhabi. He did do a test with because he races for the McLaren IndyCar team. He raced for the McLaren IndyCar team, Arrow. Yeah. So he practiced with or he did some testing with the McLaren F1 team. So I can definitely see him in the future. And I think
last week he took. I don't remember what year it was. An older McLaren Formula One car when they were silver with Vodafone.
Oh yeah, those. Oh, I love that livery, like the 2008, like.
Yeah, one of those years. I think it might have been a little newer than that. And then he took that car out last week at Laguna Seca in California. So he was testing there with Zach Brown.
Oh, okay.
So he was out there as well.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And then I saw a photo of him this week. Sitting in the F1 McLaren, like the current one.
Yeah.
Not the Indy car. So
no.
I don't know if he was testing here as well. I know he has a final test at Abu Dhabi, like this upcoming race.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how he does in that car. It's hard though. Like you don't really have enough time to get used to it and like to really.
No, for sure.
To really show how fast you could be. But I'm excited to see Ilott in IndyCar. I think he'll be really good.
No, for sure. So,
and as you know, I'm a little biased towards IndyCar. I like it.
That's for sure. Yeah. So I mean, like, hey, I want to get into watching more racing series other than just F1. I've been trying to get into. I mean, like next season for sure. When the season resumes, I want to get into watching more NASCAR or just getting more following for NASCAR and IndyCar as well because F1's great, but also and Verstappen goes quickest, Perez second quickest. As the time charts indicate. So, but as right now, it's 1-2 for Red Bull, Bottas third, Ricciardo fourth. But I will say as well, I just want to get into watching more because, F1 is great, but having the ability to watch, NASCAR on like a Saturday afternoon or like a Sunday afternoon with F1 would be good as well. Like whenever F1's not on, it's like, it's good to have an alternative thing to watch because when there's non-F1 weekends, it's good to watch some type of racing regardless.
Yeah. The nice part for me, I think, because I watch I'd say I watch every race for about 5 or 6 series.
Yeah.
And so the nice thing about it is there's always something on. Mm-hmm. Like there's never a weekend where I'm like, oh, there's no racing because there's always something that I can watch.
Oh, for sure.
And with NASCAR, obviously, like there's 3 series, right? The Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. And so, you have Trucks Fridays, Xfinity Saturday, Cup Sunday. If it's a triple header weekend, it's not always a triple header weekend, but.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like watching F2 and F3 sometimes.
Yeah, I need to watch more F2. I think
it's hard to get though. They don't stream it very often.
No, they don't. It's very like you have to. They don't. I think no, they do stream it on. Well, if you have it, I mean, like I can watch it through F1 TV because
I don't have F1 TV.
But I think sometimes even on cable and stuff here and there, if you go to like, you can probably find
sometimes
some
sometimes. But, it's so. I would pay like $300 a year if someone just created a streaming service that has everything for racing.
I think like, honestly, yeah.
I mean, obviously with TV rights, it would be hard, but
yeah.
Right now, I have to pay for like 4 different streaming services to watch all the racing I watch.
Yeah, I pay for F1 TV and I pay for Motorsport TV as well. I pay for Motorsport TV, which is like $80 a year.
Yeah.
And you can watch like a bunch of racing series through there. Like I watched like last weekend or 2 weekends ago, I watched like a go-kart race in Portimao with a bunch of like 14-year-olds. And I thought it was so cool. I mean, like these kids were like fully kitted out in like full-on gear with like sponsors and decals and everything. And I'm like, these kids are like 14. I'm like, what would
super nuts?
I was playing hockey at 14 in like Waterloo in a small town. And these kids are like, and these kids are racing go-karts, like on the hope to get to F1 or to F2. Cool. Like, it's just like, but, so it's honestly crazy for me to see as well. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
World Endurance Championship.
World Endurance. Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite series. It's so good. Like that's obviously like with Le Mans and all that stuff.
Yeah. But, so, all right. So where we stand, Verstappen quickest right now with the 127.953. Bottas, second behind or 2/10 behind him. Leclerc 6/10 behind him. Hamilton 7/10. Ricardo, Perez, Norris, Russell right now in the pit, but was sitting at 8th. Raikkonen, Sainz, no, and then obviously Sainz, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ocon, Giovinazzi, and Alonso, all with no times. But Perez now coming around last few corners, and there's so many cars every time I see that are just stopped on track because they have to move out of the way because there's someone coming flying around. Where we don't see that often as other circuits where they're just like slowing down. But Verstappen crosses the line. Perez goes second fastest, so right now it's looking good for Red Bull in terms of qualifying pace. In terms of pure pace. So, it could be a good weekend for Red Bull. I mean, like, I would love to see Red Bull lock out the grid at a 1-2, which would be great to see. And, but also in the same point as well, it would be great to see Hamilton win the race this weekend. Oh, there's a yellow track hazard. Yellow flags are out. Track hazard. Looks like somebody must have gone out for, the track is clear now. But just to see, because if Hamilton wins, get the fastest lap, and Verstappen finishes second, there'll be equal points going into Abu Dhabi at 369.5. So, which is just crazy going into the final race, like both tied at 369 points. And looks like that is, was that Leclerc going off? I believe so. No, it was Carlos Sainz actually going off on the curb, and he didn't. Did he hit the wall? Oh, he just nicked the rear wing, actually. So
Sainz?
Sainz did. Yeah, he got over the curb and he just nicked the rear wing. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into pit, because I think that rear wing is slightly damaged a little bit there. So, only 7 minutes left in Q2 here in Saudi Arabia. Very exciting session so far. Lots of fastest times going up and down the timing charts here. Obviously, Russell currently sitting P10 right now, just inside the safe zone for Q3. I would love to see him get into Q3. Like if he's able to, have 2 good performances these last few races, which would be great to see. Obviously, he gets pushed down to 11th because Tsunoda goes 8th fastest. So it's weird because I think it's interesting now that teams are on the medium tires. A lot of teams are going on the medium tires to start the race on, but the difference is much bigger now between what we saw with the soft tires. Like when the teams were on the soft tires, the gaps were much, much closer. But now with the mediums, they're a little bit bigger, Yeah. So it's interesting to see the different tires and stuff like that they're using and how the times differ between each tire set. So right now, Hamilton only 5th fastest. Yep, there's the damaged wing. It looks like they're definitely going to look at that for sure because he did nick it a little bit there. The rear wing. So, alrighty. Anybody else on a timed lap right now as it stands? Looks like Russell's on his out lap and Norris is on their out lap as well. Hamilton's on a timed lap. Here he comes. Last few corners. Let's see, where does he cross the finish line? And he's going to cross the line. Second fastest, 128 flat. So very, very close. Only a 10th off of Verstappen's time. So it is marginal between the two title contestants for this year. So very, very close. Looks like Perez is on a time lap as well here. So we'll have to see. But yeah. Do you think that Hamilton is gonna take the race win this weekend, or do you think Max has a chance to improve or take a larger lead in the championship standings?
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm a decent Max fan. Like I like Max, and I have nothing against Lewis. And nothing against Lewis either. I just think, it's on the one hand, it's really interesting, and we're lucky that we get to see him like that. He's during our time, because he will go down as the greatest to ever drive, right? Like
one of the greatest drivers.
Incredible.
Yeah,
like, we're witnessing history here. But I think the sport would be a lot more interesting if he wasn't driving. Like once he retires. Really, I think that the sport will be more interesting, just so there's more competition. And but then the issue is, I think Max will just become that. I guess we'll see with the new car, right?
We'll see with the new degs, like the new regulations, for 2022 and beyond, to see. I think I can agree with you at some point. I think
the season before, it was like, all right, what a surprise.
I think just the big difference is that Red Bull has a much more competitive car, but I think even going for 2022 and beyond, if certain team manufacturers can make a competitive car for their driver, I think a lot of these young guys like Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Pierre Gasly, they have a chance at getting race wins. Yeah, they can make a run. It would be great to see, similar to 2012 or 2010, have a multiple person title fight, not just two people.
I would love that. I think Hamilton's so strong. I have a bad feeling that he's going to take it this year, which is it's not a bad thing. It would be nice to see Max get the win.
Oh, I think a lot of people would be great to see Max win the first, become the youngest World Drivers' Championship over Seb Vettel by a couple of months. But I still think at the same point as well, seeing Hamilton win that 8th World Drivers' Championship,
would be awesome.
Would be think about that. 20 years from now, you're gonna have you're gonna be talking to your kids and be I witnessed one of the greatest racing drivers ever. I witnessed him in his prime, and I got to see him win 7 of his multiple 4 or 5 of his multiple because I didn't see him in 2008 or 2021 and 2008, but regardless, in 2014 and on.
It's talking about Tom Christensen.
Yeah.
The Le Mans driver. He's the same thing, just in endurance.
No, for sure. Yeah.
He went overall Le Mans 8 times.
Who is the one guy that's won it 13 times or something? I think what it is I was watching a documentary about the Le Mans, and it was
I'll check. I don't know what Tom's currently at, because I think it was 2011 he won his 8th. So he very well could have won 4 since then.
Oh, easily, yeah. So as it stands right now, 2 minutes to go in Q2. Right now, Perez, Verstappen, Bottas, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Gasly, Norris, Leclerc, Giovinazzi, and Ocon are your reigning top 10. Ricciardo just outside of that, 7/10 clear off the pace, and only about 22 milliseconds off of the pace of Ocon there. Russell's a little bit slow, and Alonso and Sainz, obviously, Sainz is not going to hope. I mean, he could be looking to get another run, but...
Damn. He's 1-9.
1-9? Okay.
Yeah. With Audi.
Yeah, I think there was another guy that it was a 2017. It was 2017 when it was being displayed, but I can't remember. It was Audi or Porsche, the guy who drove for him, and he won in a crazy amount. It was maybe it was that guy, but regardless,
it had to be TK.
Yeah, Oh yeah, I think it was TK. Yeah, because
they call him Mr. Le Mans.
Yeah, so. But I think to your point as well, as we wrap up in this Q2 session, I think that. Yes, Hamilton, it would be great to see him retire and then just allow for other drivers to, challenge a little and have a better, I'd say better chance. But at the same point as well, it's if you give them next year, if we have a competitive car between, if we have multiple competitive cars fighting for the World Drivers' Championship, we might see Hamilton, get dethroned a little bit and just get challenged, because we've seen it this year with Max. Max has won 9 races. Max has won 9 races, so.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It's really interesting as well.
I think the closest team right now to having a car that is worthy or capable of racing at that level would be McLaren.
McLaren, yeah.
Like, it's gonna really. I'll be really excited to see how their 2022 car performs.
No, for sure. So
because they've had points at this season where it looks like they could contend for wins, but they just don't have the overall pace.
That's the thing. They don't have the race pace. As Hamilton goes fastest, 1:27.712 for the fastest lap right now as we near the end of Q2. Perez right now in his out lap. Verstappen third fastest. Oh, and we got a track hazard. Yellow flag is out. Let's see anybody off track or no. Quick so many messages gone on and back on. But regardless, so getting close to the wall is Esteban Ocon there. So yeah, Ricardo finishes outside, obviously. 11th, Raikkonen, Alonso, Russell, and Sainz they're going to be missing out of Q3. But Giovinazzi make it into Q3. You know, he's even though I know he's not racing with them anymore, he's still putting in a great amount of effort these last few races and trying to put his name out there for sure. I mean, like he'll be racing Formula E next year
for the Formula E leap.
Yep. So looking to get as much.
Did you read the article where he the quote? They got.
I did read the quote. Yeah, it was he had a lot of guts saying that, and I think Fred Vasseur. Okay, to be fair, yes, money is ruthless, but regardless, I think Giovinazzi had 3 seasons where he could have proved himself, and I just think he did. He just didn't. Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest storyline between this whole thing is not having Giovinazzi kicked out, but having Guan Yu Zhou come in over Callum Elliott or Oscar Piastri. That's really the big main storyline.
Yeah.
Obviously, Carlos Sainz.
I'm not even upset about the Giovinazzi move. Like, I don't really have any feelings towards him either way. Like, no, I don't care too much. But I think it'll be because he's obviously a very talented driver and he's had some bright points. Yeah. So I think it'll be nice to see him in a different series where he can maybe shine. Like that's what happened with Romain, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's loving IndyCar right now. So
and he's good at it.
Yeah,
he's really good at it.
For sure.
He took pole in his 3rd race in IndyCar.
Yeah, he looks really happy. I think he put out a quote. He put out a quote saying that he's just compared to F1, it's just super happy because I think the big issue with F1 is that he was always competing at the back. Ooh, some contact between Kimi Raikkonen and looks like potentially it was the Lewis Hamilton. I think that was Lewis. Oh no, it's more like Valtteri Bottas. I think that was. Yeah, very close call there. But as we end the Q2 session, Hamilton sets the fastest lap. Perez 2nd, Verstappen 3rd, Bottas 4th. Tsunoda, Gasly, Norris, Leclerc, Ocon, and Giovinazzi are your top 10 going into Q3. So going into Q3, I'm going to say it, but I think Hamilton's. I want to say it, but I think still Hamilton's going to take pole. I mean, I
think so too.
He's looking really strong. I think Perez or Verstappen can take the 2nd row to split the Mercedes. And I think if they're able to do that, that would be much better than having to finish.
I've just learned over time, over watching Formula One for years now, you just never ever bet against Hamilton.
Oh yeah,
it never works. It never works.
No, that's for sure.
Time and time again, he proves that he's always right.
Yeah, even we saw it in Brazil. Like he started P20 and he made up 15 places in 24 laps.
Exactly.
And then in the race, he made up 7 positions in 2 laps. Like he was flying, absolute flying. So yeah, it should be interesting going into Q3. And I think that obviously Hamilton has the upper hand. And I think Valtteri Bottas, he just has to outqualify. He just has to outqualify Perez. That's all he has to do, really. Mm-hmm. If he's able to outqualify Perez, then I think he'll have a good chance at a good race on Sunday for getting some big points for Mercedes. Because that's all he really needs. Just finish above Perez. And because I think Verstappen and Hamilton kind of cancel each other out, really, in terms of the championship. Again, they finish 1st or 2nd. Yeah, exactly. and yes, there's a 7 to 8 point gap difference between the two. Whoever takes fast lap, it's between 6 and 8 points. But regardless, having that 2nd driver up there is really what makes the difference in who leads the championship after that 100%. Weekend. So, but
do you think? Here's a question for you, Sam. Do you think that we are going to see another, maybe some contact between Max and Lewis up front? Because I don't know. I think if we're going to get another, tangle with them, this is going to be the track.
I can definitely see it being very close wheel-to-wheel racing based on how fast this circuit is.
Yeah.
And the corners that are involved in this circuit.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. I think, like, I would not be surprised if it's all over in turn 1. Like,
I would hate to see it. I would hate to see it,
but it would not surprise me.
I wouldn't say it's over in turn 1, but I think that maybe it's going to be like a Silverstone situation where it's going to be like the 3rd or 4th corner where somebody's going to be going around and they're going to get a little too close, and then he's just going to boop, and it's going to be like into the wall, and he's into the wall, and he's out of the race.
And everyone's like, oh, you didn't give enough room, or you did
all the time
room.
You have to leave a space, as Fernando Alonso would say. So all the time you have to leave a space. But
so it's such a ridiculous sport because drivers will never, like, right away, they'll never admit that they're wrong.
No. They'll never be like, yeah, no, they'll never be like,
across all motorsports, it's the rarest thing to happen when a driver's in an accident, they come out and they're like, that was my fault.
Yeah.
Like, they'll never do it.
Even in the situation where Hamilton was blocking Mazepin, Hamilton stuck out his hand like that, saying like, like, what the heck? Like, where did he come from?
Everyone always thinks it's something against them. Like that it's always an attack.
Yeah. And it's like, why are you doing this? Like, what's going on and stuff like that.
And it's more like prudent in NASCAR just because of the style of racing. It's like the person will be running the top line and just like completely come down and clobber the person running the bottom line, and then they'll get out of the car and they'll be like, want to fight the other person, just like, what?
I've seen a few situations in NASCAR races where it's like they get heated. So
I'm like, watch the replay. You just took them out.
Yeah, like you just. So it's interesting for sure, to see that. I mean, like, honestly, looking ahead, I think it's going to be close. It's going to be wheel-to-wheel racing. I don't think that they can touch, because ideally, all I like to see is just hard racing. I just want to see hard racing where...
Yeah, I don't like accidents. It makes me sad.
Oh, for sure. Anytime I see an accident, it just sucks. It just sucks. Anytime there's both drivers out, one of the drivers is out, it's tough. So
yeah, for sure. And it's just a very harsh reality of motorsport that it's still a very dangerous activity. Sure. Like, even how far technology's come with the survivor cell and all that stuff, it's still a terrifyingly dangerous sport. There's a crash in Florida this weekend that it makes your stomach turn. I can't believe he walked away.
No, for sure.
It was in a truck race. Yeah. And he basically came into the oval, like came into turn 3, caught like the right both right wheels and flipped into the wall.
No way.
Like, so he was sideways and like his cockpit would just like slammed right into the wall. Whole car goes up.
Oh
like
my God.
When they pulled the chassis out, it was like exactly that. It was just the chassis left.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just so thankful that he was okay, because that was nuts.
Well, Q3 is about to begin, and what was interesting as well is they were just showing the graphics on screen that the last 5 races, Valtteri Bottas has taken pole in 3 out of those 5 races.
Yeah.
So he's taking.
He's fast in quali.
He is. He can show some pace. He can prove that he deserves to be there.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how many team orders we don't hear. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. There's so many times that I've seen that I felt bad for Valtteri Bottas. I think there was a moment as well during the race when they said, "Hey, Valtteri, it's James. Don't pass Lewis. Don't pass him, but just go beside him and see what damage he has." And
that's one of my favorite memes, where it's like,
Valtteri, it's James.
It's just, hey, Valtteri, it's James.
Yeah.
You already know it's up.
It's just like,
it's such a shame.
Valtteri's just like traditions every time, every race and stuff like that.
Like, it's one of my least favorite parts of racing, but you have to understand it from a team perspective.
No,
but it is frustrating.
And we've seen team orders Ferrari like a couple of years ago that were much, much worse between who was it? Michael Schumacher and what was it? I wouldn't say it's Rubens Barrichello. No, it was Felipe Massa or something like that.
I was about to say Massa.
It was Massa in 2000 and 2001 at Austria. It was brutal. 2 years in a row they did the same thing.
Absolutely brutal. The poor kid.
I know, right? And it's just unfortunate, because now, again, Michael Schumacher, we've known if you know about this, all great drivers sometimes are mean. They're not nice. Like, they're not always the nicest people. because you have to be ruthless in certain situations to be a winner and to be a champion. So Lewis Hamilton, and other, Sebastian Vettel, even at certain points, he was ruthless in his career in, 2010 to 2014. He was a young guy, but regardless, he was still ruthless in certain situations.
For sure.
But you have to
obviously one of the most famous ruthless drivers was Ayrton, right? Like
Ayrton Senna, yeah.
He was not giving you an inch ever.
There was times when he, he purposely, well, not purposely, but a lot of people consider that purposely crashed out in certain tracks to win the championship, to ultimately win the championship, because all he had to do was just, push out his driver, push out his title contender for the win.
Yeah.
So
exactly,
10 minutes ago here in Q3, we haven't seen really Lewis Hamilton, not really any lap set. So hopefully Bottas is right now setting his timed lap as well. I think Hamilton out there as well. So we'll have to see where they set their pace for now as we go around with Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, as well as Pierre Gasly, all setting time lapse going around the circuit. But it should be interesting for sure. But
I look forward to it.
No, exactly. To see, I think Hamilton goes wide there, and it looks like he's gonna have to abort that lap. He just completely missed the apex there, so that lap is going to be aborted. So Bottas right now still staying on his lap, has not aborted it yet, as well as Gasly. So it looks like Max Verstappen is on his way out. Yeah, here's the replay now of Hamilton just where is it? Oh yeah, he just too much understeer there. So a little bit too much understeer. Or sorry, understeer. Not oversteer, but it's a little bit too much understeer on there. So track temperature is still 30 degrees, and they are on the soft tires for now. So I think a lot of teams will be starting on the mediums for the race because that's what they qualified on for Q2. But did you hear as well that the FIA is considering removing the Q2 qualifying rule? Like, did you hear about that or no?
I think I saw the headline.
Yeah,
so they mean just getting rid of Q2 altogether?
No. They're getting rid of the Q2 tire rule. Sorry, the Q2 where you have to, like, whatever tires you qualify in Q2 and you start the race on, and it's like that's set.
Yeah.
So they're thinking about removing that, and I think some people were considering it would be better to do it actually in Q3. Oh, what? You just watching something or?
Yeah, no, I'm behind.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So right now, as it stands, Valtteri Bottas at the fastest lap. Yuki Tsunoda in second right now, 0.2 off, but again, that's still very early on in the session.
Sorry, I saw Hamilton get loose there.
Yeah, he got loose a little bit. Yeah,
very loose.
Yeah, he did. He lost a lot of that back end of that car. So
I think that speaks volumes to what this track's about.
No, for sure.
So like on the knife's edge all the time.
Yes, indeed. Let's watch Yuki get P3. Yuki Tsunoda could get P3, and then that would be something as well. You seen Yuki Tsunoda up there in the front row or in the top level? That would be great to see top 5. So Q3, 7 minutes to go here in Saudi Arabia qualifying. Hamilton now for a new timed lap. Hamilton coming across here. Verstappen looking to come across the line, and where does he set the fastest lap? Or is he still? Oh, he's still going around. Oh, I think he's just starting his timed lap though. No time. So here comes Verstappen. Here comes Hamilton. Sorry, not Verstappen. Last few corners here. Should be exciting to see who gets pole here. I think Hamilton has the best chance, but it's really tough to tell. I would just love to see somebody different, other than even Hamilton or Verstappen. Hamilton goes fastest, 128 flat.
Like, does Hamilton really need another mini tire? I think he's good.
Yeah, for sure. I think I agree with you as well. I think he's got enough.
He could start a go-kart team and have enough tires to last the whole career.
Oh, for sure. He could easily start a go-kart team. He has enough tires to just build like a little fort or something, like a tire house easily.
Imagine that, like your go-kart team runs on Formula 1 pole tire.
Yeah, it's like, why are they all like different? It's like, I've got a soft, medium, and hard as well. We're running different tire sets. So
we like different compounds on different wheels.
Yeah, it's like hards on the back and then softs on the front. That would be interesting to experiment. Imagine F1 cars running different tire sets.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
So Perez only right now a little bit slower than Hamilton on the pace. Let's see where he finishes. Let's see where Hamilton finishes, or sorry, where Verstappen finishes across the line. Goes fastest, 127.653. 0.3 clear of Hamilton. So Max is showing the pace here. Red Bulls, they're showing they've got pace. And here comes Perez across the line, seeing where he'll finish, as well as Bottas. And he goes third fastest. So able to beat out Bottas, but we'll see where Bottas crosses the line here. Currently very close between Perez and Bottas. And I think that's going to be who takes that third spot on the grid is going to be crucial for the race tomorrow. Obviously, the race, 12:30, odd time for a race, but 12:30 p.m. Eastern is when the race is. Goes second fastest, so he beats out Hamilton, qualifies faster than his teammate by about 60 thousandths of a second there, right there. 321 and 382, the difference between Bottas and Hamilton right there. So very interesting to see Bottas get above. So Hamilton currently in the pits right now. I think most cars will pit, and then they'll probably see one final run in about 2 or 3 minutes as they end up. So, yeah, it should be exciting to see. I think Hamilton is still going to put in a great lap. I just have a feeling that I don't want to bet against Hamilton there. He's just going to get an insane lap in, and it's going to be close. Like, Verstappen has a great chance to get pole, and he's showing the pace. But I think that at the same time, as Hamilton heads for his out lap, I think he's just going for a quick set of fresh tires, and here he comes now. So Ocon right now on a time lap as well as Giovinazzi. We'll have to see. So Gasly, Ocon, Giovinazzi, and Leclerc all setting no laps, no time yet so far. Leclerc is on his out lap as well as Gasly as well. So we'll have to see Verstappen in the pits right now. Yeah, this is where qualifying gets interesting because
it's like the last 3 minutes.
This is where we start to see things get really interesting between the teams and when they're going out and, what kind of fun.
Yeah, a lot of tactics.
Oh, for sure. Exactly. But we'll have to see. So, and I think really the biggest thing that I'm kind of looking forward to see is how well Leclerc or possibly Tsunoda or Gasly can spoil, one of the Mercedes. If they're able to, get into the second or third position, it would be great for Red Bull. So, because that's just, Gasly goes fourth fastest ahead of Perez by about 3 milliseconds there. Crazy different, like a very small difference between Gasly and Perez. As Ocon is going to come across the line. He goes 9th fastest, so not much there. I mean, you don't expect really much from the Alpine compared to the other cars out there. So,
yeah.
But it's just crazy. Like Gasly being P4 right now, like, it's just madness of what he like in the car that he is compared to the car that Perez is in, and see where things could be the difference.
Yeah, not it's like you just. I mean, I know AlphaTauri is not really a B team. I mean, they're kind of a B team, but like you're on the B team and you just like qualified faster than the guy on the A team.
Yeah, the guy that they replace you with, like
exactly.
Gasly's been on a revenge tour ever since 2019. Ever since 2019,
sure.
he's been on a
so
big
good.
revenge tour.
I like him a lot.
He's been massive. I'm just waiting for him to get the next call to potentially a different team. Like hopefully for 2022 we have like multiple teams competing in the top, and then he's able to go to a competitive team. Maybe AlphaTauri becomes a competitive team, and I think that again,
maybe
like Red Bull does allocate a certain number of resources to them. And I think they probably keep them in check for a certain reason of like, okay, you can't be better than us, but you'll equally be as good. As Perez goes fourth fastest, 128, 123 right now. 2 minutes to go. Verstappen, Bottas on the outlap. Hamilton on a timed lap right now. And as it stands, a little bit of traffic there. Let's see where he finishes through the second sector. Very margin, but 23 milliseconds, the difference between Hamilton and Verstappen's times through 2 sectors. But oh my God, it's just watching the onboards is crazy how fast they're going. Like the amount of G-forces they're feeling around these turns is just crazy. Probably nuts. Like easily like above 3 Gs, easily above 3 Gs as he crosses the line. Where is he going to finish? He goes fastest by about a tenth there over Verstappen, 127.511. And like I said as well, you never count out Hamilton. So, I mean, I highly doubt that he's going to do another final lap here. He's only got a minute to go. So it looks like that's the time going to beat for Verstappen. So I wonder if Verstappen can beat that time. And it looks like he's warming up his tires, ready to go for a timed lap here. One final time lap to Tsunoda, obviously, Norris as well, making their time lap to ways around. So I don't know. It would be awesome to see Verstappen get pole over Hamilton, but I think that it's going to be very, very tough. But
very tough.
Anyways, here is Verstappen, and he only goes. Is that's his time, or is he? No, he's doing one more lap. I'd say. No, he's going to do one more lap. Here's the time lap for Verstappen as we go around this. Oh, he lost it. Oh my God, he almost binned it. Oh, he almost pinned it in the wall. That was very close. And I think that's going to be a huge difference right there. I don't think he's going to, yeah, he lost it already. I don't think he's going to get pole here. I highly doubt that after that early spin, but let's see if he can make the recovery up. So Hamilton went 32 flat in the first sector, and Verstappen is going to, oh, he goes quicker. He goes quicker by a tenth quicker right now.
Even with the bobble.
Yeah, even with the little bobble, like he just lost it in that first corner, but he hung a tenth faster right now. So Hamilton went 59.992 in the second sector. Let's see where Verstappen. This is what we live for right here. Like around this fast circuit and seeing these two fight for pole position every second, every millisecond counts. And he goes quicker, 2/10 up on Hamilton right now. 2/10 up on Hamilton. So as it stands right now, 2/10 up.
We're getting treated to a nice quality.
We are. So Bottas goes second fast of the 127.622. So it looks like Verstappen could take pole here with Hamilton just behind him. But I don't want to knock on wood. Oh no. Oh no. I jinxed it. No. He hit the wall. He tapped the wall. I jinxed it. I ruined it. I ruined the lap. Oh no. He's lost it. He's binned it. He's only gone third fastest. And now there's a track hazard, which means for Bottas, obviously, oh, he was gonna take pole. That was the lap. To take pole position, and he lost it. So that is unfortunate for Max Verstappen.
I'm gonna tell Max it was your fault because you jinxed him.
Yeah, I jinxed him, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, I thought he was gonna take it. I said it looks like he's gonna take pole, and I said knock on wood. And then right after that, he crashed out. I jinxed it. You can call it here. I'll take that one. I'll take that one to the house. Unfortunate, really for. Oh my God, he was going so well around the corner. Let's see the replay here. Where did he lose it exactly? Oh yeah, he just tapped the wall. He just lost a little bit too much grip there. Oh my God, he was gonna take pole. He was 2/10 clear.
Oh, he was ripping.
He was gonna. He had a lockup. I see. He had a lockup. So. Yeah. So that's just unfortunate, really, to see as he's just walking away. Again, it's a street circuit. Again,
it's so tough.
That is tough to see. You hate to see it, but I think honestly, though, even though he didn't take pole position as we finish up this qualifying live session, oh, there's Jos Verstappen.
Did you see Toto, bro?
Oh, I saw Toto. Yeah, he was happy, but Jos Verstappen just slamming the fist on the table, similar to the Toto fist slam, but. Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it right there.
So unfortunate.
As it stands, Hamilton takes pole over with Bottas second, Verstappen third, Leclerc fourth, Perez fifth, Gasly sixth, Norris seventh, Tsunoda, Ocon, and Giovinazzi 8th, 9th, and 10th as it stands. What time is it right now? 1:03. Okay, well, that pretty much is going to do it for our live qualifying watch along. I would love to cook and chat, but I've got to run. I've got to actually work to go to in about half an hour. So thank you all for joining us today, for all who tuned in. And stay tuned for Sunday evening, somewhere around Sunday. We will do the post-race show for the Saudi Arabian GP, which should be exciting and super good to watch. So thank you very much, Jack, for joining us,
Thanks for joining
me today. And have a happy Saturday.
Have a good one.